Hello students, once again welcome to Bholanathacademy. In this video students, we are going to see the nomenclature of ketones. In last video students, we have seen the nomenclature of carboxylic acid and aldehyde. In this video students, we are going to see the nomenclature of ketones. Now students, we are going to name the ketone in two ways students. First is called as common system. In common system students, how you are going to name the ketones, which is very important students. It is present biomolecules in organic compound. This naming is very important. So the two ways we are going to name the ketones students. First is called as common system. In common system, how we are going to name the molecule of ketone. So students, the alkyl group, first students you should see the alkyl groups attached to the carbonyl carbon of the carbonyl. When alkyl group is attached to a carbon of the carbonyl atom followed by the word ketones. If you want to name the ketone in common system students, you have to please keep in mind, if this is the carbon of the carbon, this is carbonyl students. See students, this is the carbon atom of the carbonyl. When there is alkyl groups, this suppose there the alkyl group is attached on this side as well as this side, then only this carbonyl we call as ketone. Okay students, the word we are going to see the word ketone, and this is nothing but your alkyl, we call as alkyl. This side also and this side also you have alkyl. Okay students, so this ketone will contains one carbon, and depending upon the alkyl group, how many alkyl atoms are attached, carbon atoms are attached, that we are going to see. Okay students, one ketone word should be there at the end, that is ketone. So students, if carbon of the carbonyl is attached by alkyl group, we have to name as a ketone, which ketone is already made up of one carbon. Okay students, now students, the substituent in the alkyl groups, substituents, now students we are talking about the substituents, very important. In alkyl groups are indicated by Greek alphabets alpha, beta, gamma, starting from the carbon atom attached to the carbonyl carbon group. Okay students, so again students, suppose this is the carbonyl students, here carbons are attached. Okay students, these are the carbon of alkyl. Now here students, we are talking about substituents in the alkyl. So this side also you have alkyl, this side also you have alkyl. Now here we are talking about substituents. If the substituents are attached, say for example here if it is bromine is attached, so we call as it is alpha, this is beta, this is what gamma. This side also you can name, this is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon, and this is what gamma carbon. Okay students, so these are the if you want to name the ketones having the substituents, you have to name the carbon with alpha, beta, gamma, that is called as Greek letters. Okay students, the substituent in the alkyl groups, so these are the alkyl groups which are attached to the carbon of the carbonyl. This side also you have alkyl group, and this side also you have alkyl group. Okay students, so if the substituents are attached in alkyl group indicated by the Greek alphabet, we are going to indicate that carbon with alpha, beta and gamma. We have to start the alpha before this carbonyl. This is the carbonyl carbon students. Okay students, so this side carbon will be alpha carbon, this is beta, this is gamma, and so on. Okay students, so this way as students you can name the ketone way in common system. Now students, in IUPAC system students, in IUPAC system is a different way students. You have to select the longest continuous chains containing carbonyl group, carbonyl carbon. You have to select the longest continuous chain containing carbonyl atom is selected as a parent hydrocarbon. Okay students, so students, that means suppose this is the carbonyl carbon of the carbonyl. Now you have to select the longest chain. Okay students, so this way students you have to select the longest chain, 1 2 3 4 5. So it is the pentane, it is derived from pentane, and it is containing carbonyl, so it is called as pentanone. Okay students, the longest continuous chains containing carbonyl atom is selected as a parent hydrocarbons. Okay students, so this way students you have to select the parent hydrocarbons. So it is made up of how many carbons? So it is made up of 5 carbons, so we call as, it has been derived from pentane, since it is containing carbonyl group, so we call as pentanone. Now students, here students, in general students, hydrocarbons we call as what? Alkane. E of the alkane, this is the E of the alkane, is replaced by 1, we call as alkanone. Okay students, so alkane will convert, we have to name it alkanol. Say for example it is pentane, so we call as pentanone. Now students, when two carbonyl groups are present in the then we have to use word as a dione. If there is a two carbonyl in a group students, so we call as what? Dione is added in parent ketone. Suppose here one more carbonyl you have pentane dione, we call as what? Pentane dione. So understanding students, when two carbonyl groups are present, then the suffix dione is added to the parent ketone. In case of polyfunctional ketone, now if there is a more functional along with ketone, you have other functional, the higher priority group is given lower number. So higher priority group, we are going to give the lower group number. When ketone carbonyl is lower priority group, it is named as oxo. When ketone carbonyl is a lower priority, at the time we have to use word as a word oxo, and that is preceded by the locant. In alicyclic ketone students, carbon is numbered as a what? 1. So we have to give the priority of ketone as a number 1. We have to start the numbering from ketone side. Okay students, say for example students, one example I want to show you when you are going to give the word oxo. So here students, suppose this is the and here you have one more functional group, that is, this is the aldehyde group, this is aldehyde, and this is your ketone. So you have, in this molecule you have polyfunctional group, we call it, if you CH3 just name, so here it will have 2 hydrogen, and this, now it is balanced. Now students, here you have 2 functional group, one is ketone and second is what, aldehyde. So you have 2 ketone, aldehyde and ketone. So that is why this molecule we call as what, it is, this molecule is containing 2 functional, that is why we call as polyfunctional, more than 2. So students, this is a ketone students, so you have to start numbering to this, you have to give the priority to this 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay students, so it is called as butanol. So we have to start the number, we have to give the numbering from this carbon, so this will be the butanol, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is butanol, this is butanol. Okay students, this is butanol, but at carbon number 3 students, you have, at carbon number 3 you have carbonyl, so we call as 3-oxo-butanol. Okay students, we call as what, 3-oxo-butanol, that we will see students. So this is all the rules I have told in IUPAC system students. Now we are going to see some name of the molecule students. First molecule that we are going to see students, this is the carbonyl students. When this carbon of the carbonyl is containing methyl group CH3, and this side also you have CH3. So this is the ketone students. In common name, how you are going to name students, so this is alkyl, this side also you have alkyl, so both is what, methyl. Which type of alkyl? It is what, methyl. Okay students, containing one carbon, and it is methyl is also 1 carbon. So this molecule is containing, whole molecule is containing 3 carbon. So, and this is nothing but, now if it is, so now it is called as ketone. Okay students, now how you are going to name in common students, since both the valency of this ketone is occupied by, this carbonyl is occupied by methyl group, but there is 2 methyl groups, so we call as dimethyl. What will we are going to name, dimethyl, and you have to use the word ketone. Okay students, so dimethyl means 2 carbon and 1 ketone means 1 carbon. So 3 carbon molecule, that is called as dimethyl ketone. In common name we are going to name like this. In IUPAC system students, how you are going to know, you have to select the longest chain of the carbon containing carbonyl. So you can name this side also, and you can put the number from this side also. So I am naming the number from this carbon as a carbon number 1, this is 2, and this is what, 3. Okay students, so total how many carbon students, it is containing 3 carbons, so we call it as propane, but it is containing carbonyl groups, so we call as propanone. So what will be the name students, it is called as propanone. E of the propane now we are going to replace with 1, so it is called as propanone, O-N-E. Okay students, we have replaced propane, E of the propane by 1, so it is called as propanone. So what will be the common name students, so dimethyl ketone is nothing but propanone. This is the carbonyl students, this side also 1 carbon, and this side you have, suppose it is attached by 2 carbon. Now fill the valency students, fill the valency with hydrogen CH3, there is no carbon, is already tetravalent, so here it required 2 hydrogen, here it is what, 3. If you want to name this molecule by IUPAC system students, so you have to see the alkyl which is attached to this carbon of the carbonyl. So here the carbon of the carbon is attached by methyl. Here students, this alkyl is nothing but ethyl. Now this ethyl is attached to the carbon of the carbonyl. So here you have 2 alkyl students, methyl and ethyl. In alphabetical order students, E is coming first. Understanding students, in alphabet A, B, C, D, E is coming first. So we have to name this alkyl first. We have to name ethyl first. Ethyl, and then after we are going to name methyl. Methyl, and this you have to called as what, ketone. Now both the valency is occupied by alkyl group, then this carbonyl we call as what, ketone. So ethyl, methyl, ketone. Understanding students? So from the name you comes to know how many carbon. So ethyl is containing 2 carbon, and here methyl 1 carbon, and ketone is containing 1 carbon. Total how many carbon students? Total this molecule is consist of 4 carbon. So ethyl, methyl, ketone is nothing but containing 4 carbon, like this. Understanding students? Now how you are going to name in IUPAC system students? For that students you have to start the numbering. Now students, when you have to start the numbering, where your ketone group will come to the lower number. So if you have to start number from this side, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So at carbon number 2 you have this oxygen group. So understanding students, so what will be the name of this compound students? Since longest chain is what, butane, at the carbon number 2 you have carbonyl group at carbon number 2. So what happens students, what will be the name? It is called as butane 2O1, butane 2O1. So understanding students, at the carbon number 2 you have ketone group, that is why it is called a butane 2O1. So this is the name students in IUPAC system, and this is the name in common name. Ethyl, methyl, ketone is nothing but butane 2-1. Third molecules that we are going to see. See, this is the carbonyl group students. This side you have methyl group, and this side if you consist of 3 carbon, that is CH2, CH2 and CH3. Okay students, now in common how you are going to name students, since this is methyl. Okay students, which type of alkyl? Methyl. And here it is which type of alkyl? This is nothing but propyl. propyl. Okay students, now students, and this, if both the valency of carbonyl is occupied by different alkyl group, we call as what? Ketone. So this is the ketone molecule students. Now students, what will be the name students? In which alphabet will come students first? M and P. When you see the alphabet students, M and P, so M is coming first. And which type of propyl students? Here you have normal propyl, so you can also say which type of alkyl it is normal propyl. Okay students, so what will be the common name students? That is called as methyl N propyl ketone. So students, you have two alkyl, that is methyl and N propyl. So methyl N propyl ketone. So propyl is what? Which type of propyl? That is normal propyl. So this way you have to name the students methyl N propyl ketone. Now what will be the IUPAC name students? You have to start numbering. That number should come less. Here the carbon should having less number of carbon. So you have one. This is carbon number 1, carbon number 2, 3, 4 and 5. So total 5 carbon students. At carbon number 2 you have carbonyl group. So this is called as pentane 2,1. Pentane 2,1. So pentane 2,1 is nothing but methyl N propyl ketone. So here methyl is containing 1 carbon, here it is 3 carbon, and ketone word will gives you 1 carbon. So total 5 carbon molecule. Methyl N propyl ketone is nothing but pentane 2,1. Very important students in examination. Sometimes they may ask match the column. So this way you have to understand carbon and IUPAC name. So here students, you have carbon. At carbon number 2 students, you have carbonyl. Here students, you have carbonyl. Now fill the valency with hydrogen students. So this is the hydrogen students. Now how you are going to name students? So this is the carbonyl. Now students, both the valency of carbonyl is occupied by alkyl group. Here both are what? Ethyl only. Here also you have ethyl, and this side also you have what? Ethyl. So how you are going to name students, since both the molecules are same? So for that students, we are going to use di word. So in common name we call as diethyl, and it is ketone. So diethyl ketone. So diethyl means here 2 carbon. Ethyl is consist of what? 2 carbon, but there is 2 di. What is stand for 2 and 1 ketone. So total 5 molecule this ketone is having students. Diethyl ketone consists of 5 carbon. So diethyl ketone. Now how you are going to name in IUPAC system students? For that you have to start the numbering. You have to give the number students. This like this 1. This is carbon number 2. This is carbon number 3, 4 and 5. So whole molecule longest chain of carbon is 5. So what will be the name students? At carbon number 3 you have oxygen group is attached. So we call as pentane 3,1. Pentane 3,1 is nothing but diethyl ketone. Understand students? So mind well students, sometimes they will give the common name and you have to write down the IUPAC. Sometimes they will give IUPAC, you have to write down the structure. This way they may ask in board examinations. So this is the carbon students. This is the consist of carbonyl. Now I am going to put the valency students with the help of the hydrogen. So CS3. Now at this carbon students, suppose one valency by hydrogen, other is by bromine. Okay students, now I have used the substituent students, bromine as a substituent. So here will be CH2 and this is what? CS3. Okay students, how to name the common system students? This molecule students. Now you have to see this is the ketone students, because why it is called as ketone? Because both the valencies is occupied by alkyl group. This is also alkyl group and this is also alkyl group. Okay students, so both the valencies, so we call as what? It is ketone, but at this substituent students, this is alpha carbon. Now this is what? Beta. Where the substituent is attached, that carbon we are going to name alpha carbon. Okay students, alpha, what will be the name of this alkyl students? This is alpha bromo ethyl. What is the name of this alkyl students? So which alkyl is attached to this carbon of the carbonyl students? Alpha bromo ethyl is attached to the carbon of the carbon. Yes students, normal propyl. Here N propyl. Here we call as what? N propyl. N propyl is attached to the carbon of the carbonyl. So how you are going to know students? So you have to see the alphabetical order students. So alpha bromo ethyl will come first. Alpha bromo ethyl. This is the first alkyl, and second you have N propyl. Okay, so and this is called as what? Ketone. So alpha bromo ethyl and N propyl ketone will be the name of this molecule. So alpha bromo ethyl and N propyl and ketone. So we are going to name students in common system, alpha bromo ethyl and N propyl ketone. The name of this molecule will be alpha bromo ethyl and N propyl ketone. What will be the IUPAC name students? For that students you have to start the numbering where the substituents are attached. So you have to name the this molecule like this students. You have to represent this carbon by number. We are not going to represent alpha beta gamma. In IUPAC system students, we are going to name this carbon as carbon number 1, carbon number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So it is a hexane. At carbon number 3 you have what? Carbonyl group, we call as hexane 3,1. Okay students, so hexane 3,1. Now students, at Carbon number 2 you have bromo group, 2 bromo, 2 bromo, 2 bromo hexane 3 1. Okay students, this is one name students. So 2 bromo hexane 3 O1 is nothing but alpha bromoethyl and propyl ketone. Both are same molecule students. Methyl, 2 methyl is attached to this carbon unsaturated, and it is attached to the carbonyl, and it is attached to methyl. So how we are going to name this molecule students? So here students, if you want to name this molecule students, you can represent like this also. So here students, this is the one alkyl group, and here it is what? Another alkyl group. So this is called as 2-methyl propene, and here it is what? Methyl. So it is nothing but 2-methyl propene methyl ketone. But students, because of MM group are same, so we call as mesetyl oxide. It is also one name they have given in common, that is called as mesetyl oxide. So this is unsaturated ketone students, contain carbon-carbon double bond. We call as 2-methyl propene methyl ketone, or you can say mesetyl oxide. In IUPAC system students, you have to give the longest chain of carbon. Give this carbon as a number 1 because it is very near to this carbonyl group. So this is carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay students. Say for example, this carbon will be first for carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Carbon number 4 students, you have methyl group, and carbon number 3 you have carbon-carbon double bond, and carbon number 2 you have carbonyl group. So what will be the name students? This is nothing but 4-methyl. Total carbon, longest chain of carbon is what? Pent. 5 carbon, so we call as pent 3En, and 2 at carbon number 2 there is a carbonyl group, so 2On. So the name is nothing but students 4-methyl pent 3En and 2On will be the name of this compound. So mesetyl oxide is nothing but 4-methyl pent 3En and 2On. Here students, you have total 6 carbon. Now at carbon number 2 you have carbonyl group students, and here also you have students carbonyl group. Okay students, now fill the valency with hydrogen. So this is CH3, CH2, carbon is tetravalent, so we are going to fill the tetravalency of carbon with hydrogen. So now how to name in common system students? In common system students, it is very difficult to name because it is consist of 2 ketone, so there is no name. Here in IUPAC system students, since it is a consist of total how many carbon? It is consist of 6 carbon. This molecule is consist of 6 carbon, we call as hexane. At carbon number 2 you have 1 carbonyl, carbon number 4 you have second carbonyl. So the name of this compound will be hexane 2-24, and it is 2 carbonyl, we call as what? Dione. Yeah, dione. Okay students, so it is called as hexane 2,4-dione. So this is the name of this molecule students. So here students, 4 carbon students. At carbon number 2 you have carbonyl group, and here you have 2 different groups you have in this molecule students. Fill the valence with hydrogen. So this is CH3, CH2. Okay students, now how we are going to name students? So in common system students, it is very difficult to name this molecule, but IUPAC system you have students, you have to select the longest chain of carbon. So here students, aldehyde, you have to start the numbering from aldehyde carbon. So this carbon will be first carbon, second, third and fourth. Okay students, so this group is having carbon number 1, so total it is consist of 4 molecules we call as butanol. And carbon number 3 you have oxygen group is attached to this, so we call as 3-oxo butanol. Why Al students? Because of this aldehyde group. This is aldehyde group students, that is why we call as 3-oxo butanol. So here it is consist of ketonic group as well as aldehyde group. So 3-oxo butanol is nothing but the name of this molecule. So this is your carbon of the carbonyl. If both the valency is attached by aromatic ring, that is benzene. The name students, in common name we call as diphenyl ketone. This is which type of aromatic ring is attached, that is called as phenyl. This is phenyl, and this side also you have phenyl. So here 2 phenyl is attached to this carbonyl group, carbon of the carbonyl group we call as diphenyl, and it is what? Ketone. Okay students, so diphenyl ketone will be the name, common name of this molecule students. IUPAC system students, since both the valency is occupied by benzene, we call as benzophenone. So it is the benzophenone or diphenyl ketone. Carbonyl, this both the valency, one valency is occupied by benzene and other by methyl. So what will be the name of, in common name students, we call as methyl, EM is coming first, so we call as methyl phenyl ketone. This is called as methyl phenyl ketone. And in IUPAC system students, since one valency is occupied by acetyl, so it is also called as acetophenone. Okay students, so methyl phenyl ketone is nothing but acetophenone. This is the cyclic hydrocarbon students. Here the oxygen is there. Now it is ketonic. Now here students chlorine is attached to as a substituent, and here methyl is as a substituent. So common name is not possible students, but we can name IUPAC system. So this carbon of the cyclic hydrocarbon we are going to give as a carbon number 1. This is 2, this is 3, 4, 5 and 6. So total students, which type of hydrocarbon is cyclohexane? But this cyclohexane is consist of oxygen which is attached, so we call as cyclohexanone. But students, at carbon number 2 and carbon number 4 you have substituents. So C is coming first, so we will name 2-chloro, 4-methyl and cyclohexanone. Okay students, the name of this cyclic ketone. Here students, carbon carbonyl. Now one is occupied by CH2, CH3 and other is like this students. Okay students, so what will be the common name of this molecule students? Since which type of this is benzyl, we call as benzene containing 1-methyl, we call as benzyl. This is benzyl alkyl and this is what? Ethyl. So B is coming first, we will write benzyl first. So benzyl, ethyl and ketone will be the common name of this molecule. IUPAC system means you have to start the numbering, which is near to this carbonyl will be the first carbon, second, third and fourth. So which type of ketone students? It is nothing but butane 2-ON. Now at carbon number 1 you have phenyl group is attached, so we call as 1-phenyl butane 2-ON will be the IUPAC name of these molecules. Otherwise we can say benzyl ethyl ketone. This is the carbonyl students. This side, which type of alkyl is attached students? Here students, alkyl is attached. Here also you have alkyl, but which type of alkyl is attached here students? That is very important. So both the valencies are occupied by alkyl. So here students, this is the alkyl, but it is called as isopropyl. Which type of alkyl? Isopropyl. This is also isopropyl. And this is now it is called as ketone. Now this group we call as what? Ketone. So but here 2 isopropyl. So what will be the common name students? We call as di-isopropyl ketone. Name of this molecule will be di-isopropyl ketone. Now in IUPAC system students, you have to give the number. Okay students, you have to start elongation of carbon students. So this way you can number the carbon. This is carbon number 1, 3, 4 and 5. This will be the longest chain of this carbon, so it is called as pentane. At carbon number 3 you have carbonyl group, so it is called as pentane 3-ON. But at carbon number 2 and carbon number 4 you have methyl group. So 2 and 4, this location of carbon we call as 2 and 4, same methyl group, so we have to use word di. 2 and 4 dimethyl and pentane 3-ON, we call as pentane 3-ON, the name of this IUPAC molecule in IUPAC system. This is cyclic hydrocarbon students. At here students you have oxygen, okay students, and here you have what? Methyl. Okay students, or you can also represent like this students, and sometimes they are going to represent like this. This methyl they are going to show like this, like one line. Okay students, so what will be the name students? What will be the name of this molecule? So in common name not possible students, but IUPAC is possible. So students, you have to in IUPAC system this carbonyl will always carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Here also students same 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now at carbon number 3 you have methyl group, so it is called as 3-methyl cyclohexanone. So 3-methyl cyclohexanone will be the name of this compound students. Suppose students side by side you have carbonyl group. Here also you have carbonyl group, here also. So how you are going to name students? Common name is not possible students, but IUPAC you can name this molecule. Okay students, so you have to start the elongation of carbon consist of 4. Here it is carbon number 2, this carbon we call as 3, this is 4. So students, whole molecule is consist of 4 carbon, but at carbon number 2 and carbon number 3 you have ketone, oxygen is attached, so we call as butane 2, 3 dione. So this is the name of this molecule, so butane 2 and 3 dione. So this way students, in examination sometimes they will give the name of the IUPAC system, you have to write down the structure, and sometimes the structure will be given, you have to give the name. In vice versa students, in board examination they are asking this type of question, which is very important for the examination point of view. If you like my video, please share it, subscribe it. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. God bless you.